Hello everyone, Minute Plus Meditation, Saturday, February the 12th. So we're right in the thick of Jeroboam's great sin of schism here. And I'm just going to kind of, pick out certain things through the first reading because there are several points that are important. So the king, he worries about them going down south. They're going to lose them all. So what he does is he took counsel from the wrong people and made 2 calves of gold. Calves, gold, the sin of apostasy of the Israelites, ding, ding, ding. He said, so here are your gods, O Israel, who brought you out of the land of Egypt. You ever hear that before? That's what Jeroboam says to these people. It's like, has he forgotten his own history? So he set one in Bethel and the other in Dan. And then he appointed a festival on the 15th day. So he makes his own liturgical calendar. And then sacrificing to the calves that he had made. So now he's sacrificing to them just like the Israelites of old. Jeroboam did not turn away from his evil way. There's no excuse for this, but made priests for the high places from among the peoples. Any who wanted to be priests, he consecrated for the high places. This is where it goes from bad to worse to evil. This is evil. This is like an abomination in the eyes of God. This is not just a bad choice or a bad decision, right? This matter became sin to the house of Jeroboam, so as to cut it off and destroy it from the face of the earth. So that's how bad it was. Jeroboam should have known better. But obviously, if it comes a point when we're in a position somewhat parallel to his, if we do not pray for and almost crave for the importance of humility, we can easily fall into a sin like his. Separate, justify, and then create systems that are actually, could be as Catholics apart from the church, convince ourselves I don't need to go to church, I don't need the structure of the church, you've heard it, I'm spiritual but not religious, I get the same out of, praying in my home and so on. I'm not saying they're all as evil as Jeroboam, because this guy was not a good individual. But the same kind of error sort of is still floating around, and it's just waiting to attach itself to any human heart that lets it. Where we start justifying things, doing our own thing, creating our own systems apart from God, or justifying, the break in a relationship, and so on. Whereas we need repentance, we need to offer contrition, for our sinfulness. All of us. It's not just them or us, it's all of us. And until we do that, things will only go from bad to worse. They will compound and get really bad. So these things are not inevitable. Hopefully that's something you understand is what I'm getting at. Okay, for the Gospel of Mark. So this is another scene of multiplication. As there was a great crowd without anything to eat, Jesus called his disciples and said to them, I have compassion for the crowd because they have been with me now for 3 days and have nothing to eat. So he basically has them sit down, and then he gets the loaves and the fish, and he multiplies them, and there were about 4,000 people. Jesus sent them away and gets into a boat. Okay, so there are many things that could be said about this. You probably have heard this before. I'll just say it again, because we always forget these things. Jesus asks for a little. He could have simply multiplied the loaves and the fish out of nothing, but he asks for a little. He asked them, how many loaves do you have? They said 7. So he has them sit down, and then he takes the 7 and he multiplies them. So Jesus wants them to do as much as they can. He doesn't need them, but he wants them involved, and that's what's important. Jesus doesn't need me, he doesn't need you per se, but he wants us involved, and that's really the important thing. The fact that he doesn't need us is just, he's God, he doesn't need anything or anyone, but he wants to. That's the important thing. He wants to. He wants to involve you, and he wants to involve me in his kingdom, in the operations of his kingdom, in the government of his kingdom. And that's something that you and I should be willing to do. So whatever Jesus asks for, he wants us to use our talents and our gifts for his honor and glory for the good of others, just as he used those 7 loaves to multiply for 4,000 people. So he used them for others. That's the point. The gifts presented to him, the loaves, few loaves, were then multiplied by him to give to others. Our few gifts given back to him for his honor and glory, he multiplies for the good of others. And how we need that in our parishes, how we need that in our own personal life, our relationships, but how we need that in our parishes, this sense that what I have, I really should not keep to myself. Jesus wants me to give it to him so that he can multiply it and be used for the good of others. Remember this, whatever gift you have, it's for the good of others. God's glory, of course, but for the good of others. God bless you.